You guys need to watch The Real Yellowstone because it is the real Yellowstone.
It calls you to get involved in some aspect.
It's a phenomenal film.
Fire crews are making progress in battling 4 fires in southeast Montana. So far, crews have some containment on 3 of the 4 fires, including the Remington fire. The fire scorched a total of more than 448,000 acres.
I mean, it feels like a ticking time bomb that someday it's all going to catch.
Heat is just intense.
We could see it coming, and if it's crackling and sparking, that's the scary thing with all this grass. You know, this fire went something like 41 miles and almost 200,000 acres in 2.5 days.
People up in the Remington fire that lost 150, 300 cows, those are things that are hard to overcome.
There's a tremendous cost that we will have to bear. We don't know how we're going to land after all of this.
It's your livelihood, your way of life, and sorry.
Hello, I'm Tom Opry, director of The Real Yellowstone. This film isn't about a national park. It's not about a TV drama either. Instead, it's about the real people of the American West, multi-generational ranching families who live with the land, not apart from it. They raise livestock, steward water and grass, and protect wildlife, not just because it's their job, but because it's their way of life. These people have survived wildfires, drought, predator conflicts, and political pressure. Through it all, they've remained connected to the soil, to the seasons, to the truth. We take you beyond the tourist traps and the TV soundstages to reveal the untold truth and stories about America's rural stewards, those who are fighting to protect their families, their heritage, and the wild creatures that share the land. Today, I'm excited to show you a sneak peek of this new film, and I'm asking for your help. We're launching The Real Yellowstone in a special 30-day digital cinema event starting July 15th on the Shepherds of Wildlife Society website. However, to share this message with a global audience, we need your support. If you're moved by what you see today, please consider a donation. Even $25 can help us reach thousands.
I'm originally from Virginia, so yeah, I guess historically there was some cattle farming and stuff like that, but like ranching as a 1,000-acre huge operations, that kind of stuff is just something that's really foreign to me. So it was a neat look into that lifestyle.
So many people are fans of the Yellowstone series, but I would say that this is just such an actual representation of Montana life.
When my father-in-law bought this place, there was not a grizzly bear on it at all. That was not something he even thought about as he was choosing a place to move to, because there weren't any grizzly bears here. And now, of course, the population has jumped crazily, so now we do have tons of grizzly bears. To those people that say, well, the bears were there first, why? Well, you know what? Grizzly bears were in Missoula and Bozeman and Los Angeles too, and I don't see you jumping to put bears back in there.
We put it up for sale. We had it on the market for 2 years. We got a very good offer, but it was from the wrong people. It was from American Prairie.
What I found interesting is that the ranchers, the hunters, the out-of-state interests, the American Prairie, they all have a perspective on preserving those resources. They all, in some aspect, view themselves as conservationists, but there's a little different perspective on each one of those on how you conserve those resources.
This isn't just another nature documentary. It's a human story about connection, conflict, and the quiet courage of those who stay on the land. In this film, you will hear directly from the people who have been excluded from the environmental conversation for far too long. Ranching families, tribal members, scientists, and wildlife advocates with boots in the mud.
It's what's really happening. It's what is really, it's not the California movie star deal. It's the real, actual what's behind the scenes.
Over 20 years ago, ranchers watched black Suburbans roaring up their drives in a cloud of dust. Inside, suit-wearing rich folks talked about saving the prairie. From who, the ranchers asked. That question sparked a culture clash. A non-profit, American Prairie Reserve, started buying up land. A lot of it.
So when American Prairie Reserve buys a place, I view it as a death in the community. That land will never, ever be in private ownership again. There will never be a young family there in agriculture. It takes away our future.
If you make a generous tax-deductible contribution to the Shepherds of Wildlife Society, a 501c3 nonprofit, we'll send you a private link to the full feature film after the premiere, an exclusive companion ebook featuring behind-the-scenes photos and stories from all the filming, a membership to the Society, where each month we delve deeper into stories of rural conservation, human rights, and wildlife stewardship. Your support doesn't just help us share this film, it elevates a different vision for conservation, one grounded in dignity, sustainability, and the truth.
Well, here we are at inauguration, a place I didn't really ever think I would be.
Members-elect of the House of Representatives of the 69th Legislature of the state of Montana, please come to order.
I didn't have a party, didn't need one, didn't want one. I was 250 miles from home in our hunting camp down south of Miles City. We woke up in the morning and found out I'd been elected and went on with the day, went right back to work. Started cooking breakfast and taking care of my hunters.
That I will discharge the duties of my office.
I will discharge the duties of my office. So hopefully I can go make a difference. I'm planning to.
You'll meet a new generation deciding whether to carry on this legacy or leave it behind. With your help, we can share this film far and wide.
There's such a fire hose of information. You know, the volume of issues, you know, as a relatively new Montanan that are existing here was staggering.
There are food growers, and seeing what they're doing and hearing their perspective on all these issues is important. I hope everybody has the opportunity to see this.
Even though Sieben Livestock Company does block management, and where we bring on upwards of 1,200 public hunters every year through our properties, there's still people who want to skip the work of going through and getting in through block management, and they're actually flying in on helicopters. And what's happening is they're landing in the middle of these other guys' hunts that have gone through the hurdles of getting in on block management. Here we've got choppers, we hear them buzzing in overhead, and they just touch down and go straight to hunting, which is incredibly disruptive and disrespectful for the precedents that's been set, all the hard work that's been put in for the last 3-4 decades to get to this point. And you can't tell me that a helicopter flying over a herd of elk isn't going to disrupt their behavior.
The reason you should really watch the Real Yellowstone is because it is exactly what is happening. It's where your food comes from. It's what ranchers are dealing with. It's what sportsmen are dealing with. And when you're on the streets and you're in cities, you know, we've been so far removed from agriculture and production ag that you need to watch this. You need to get a better understanding of life in the rural America.
Humans have always been part of an ecosystem, always been part of wildlife, always been part of an intersection with nature. That's something magical, where you're bringing together one of the top conservation projects in the world that has an approach that directly involves humans. Because I believe fundamentally when people separate humans from conservation, that's when bad things happen. The closer you bring those together, the stronger that conservation is and the better it is for the people around it.
There is no, quote, wilderness prairie in the United States for prairie habitat. Now, should there be, shouldn't there be, is up for debate. I happen to think there needs to be some areas that are sort of protected. Prairie Foundation is buying land to build out some ecological space so that wildlife can move freely and they can restore bison. They're trying to figure it out, I think.
My first thoughts once I saw the Real Yellowstone was, this is a complicated situation. And I think that by the time it wrapped up, the conclusion that I came to was, we need to talk.
When I directed Killing the Shepherd in Africa and The Last Keeper in Scotland, I saw the same pattern. People pushed aside in the name of environmental progress. But real conservation, lasting conservation, only works when it includes people who share space with wildlife. The Real Yellowstone brings that same truth home, from grizzly attacks on livestock to the next generation of ranchers deciding if there's still a dream on the land. These aren't just ranching stories. They're tales about the future of wild places in a rapidly changing world. These families are at the edge of something big, and we've spent years documenting what they're up against and what they're fighting for. Now we need your help to bring it to the world stage.
I think of it as like, it's like this perfect system. It's just this beautiful system where you can raise food totally in sync with nature. We manage for biodiversity.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this sneak peek of the Real Yellowstone. In a world full of noise, politics, polarization, and armchair conservation, this film cuts through it all, and it speaks plainly. It asks, what does it mean to protect wildlife in the real world? The answer begins with people. People who know the land, who live with wildlife, and pass that knowledge down through generations.
We eat bison for the quality of the meat, the nutrient density, the fact that it's basically grown and harvested in our backyard. There's nothing like it. It's like you can taste the sunshine in the grass in your meat.
To my knowledge, she's never seen an animal die, and I think that's part of her reason for wanting to do this. Is she, wants to get closer to her food and just see the whole deal and experience it. Hey, how are you?
Good. So good to see you.
So good to see you. I'm so glad you're here for this.
Thank you so much.
The voices in the Real Yellowstone don't always agree, and that's the point. This is a conversation that is raw, honest, and rooted in lived experience.
They'd applied for a Montana brand and all that stuff, and so we thought, it'd be all right. So we ended up selling it, and it was a separate entity that the APR had set up, so it didn't look like APR to buy these places.
Seriously? And he went on good faith, and it was nothing but a flat-ass lie, so they could get what they wanted to.
I think we've done 48 transactions, and we've used a third party once at the request of the seller, and that was all about that seller, which is totally understandable, feeling uncomfortable socially, having people know that he sold to American Prairie. But everybody knows that we're in the land acquisition business. We're very transparent about that. So it's not our practice to have a stealth or a shell company that's out purchasing.
Please consider making a donation today. Your support helps us share this message not just in the West, but across the country and around the world. You'll receive a full film and a companion ebook after our digital release in July. And your contribution helps ensure that real stories about real people have a real impact. We're grateful for your support. Please share this video with your family, your friends, and your community. Let's stand together and tell the real story of conservation and people.
This post was a tree that my great-grandfather cut down over 100 years ago, and now I have the opportunity to stand here by it, and I hope that my kids also will be able to have that same opportunity just like I am.
Help us bring this story to Congress, classrooms, and conservation leaders worldwide. Every dollar boosts this message. Watch, share, donate, stand with the people of the Real Yellowstone.